Oh, we're all set now. Earthlings, everything's done. Mic on, recorder on, 4680Q radio, your city, your voice, Paul Caleb here, of course. And front and center here today, and there's so much going on. I mean, this world is wacky, and we're going to talk about the total wackiness of it when we get going here. And of course, I have to mention my sponsors. They're the ones that support the show, and we thank them. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Now, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Look at this weather. It's so hot and humid out there. I get in my car. The temperature says 110 degrees. Man, oh man, without air conditioning, you would be dying, and I hate driving with the windows open. It blows all my beautiful hair around. So I get my air conditioning to work, and I get my car running well, and I change the oil, and I do all the preventative maintenance that I can. Why? Because I don't want to break down. That's not fun. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, all the diagnostic equipment you need to let him show you what's wrong with your car. If anything, he's going to make sure it runs tip-top, everything's good, and away you go down the road, happy motoring for the summer. And we don't have that much summer left here, 4 more weeks, and we're in September, so make sure your car is running good. And if you don't get in there before winter and make sure your car's all set up for winter too, because that's important. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. If you get in a fender bender, go in, get your car fixed. He's going to make it look shiny and new, just like it came out of the showroom. You're going to be driving away going, wow, I got a new car. That's the way he does it. He does it right. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Go see Ken Hunter today. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. How about that? Easy peasy. Make sure it's right. So we got August 1st, 4 weeks to Labor Day, and guess what? Mamma mia, summer's not long for this world. Let's face it, it's hot now, but in about 2 months, we're going to be wishing it was like this. So believe me, it goes fast. The dog days of summer are here. We're going to see them for a little while, hopefully. And of course, it's gone a lot sooner than it seems like the summer just got here, and we're ending it now. It doesn't seem fair, but that's what happens. That's what happens at the end of the day. Summer goes, winter comes, and we're back to the normal routine that we have in the winter with jeans and jackets and rain and miserable and cold. But enjoy the weather now, everybody. Yeah, don't let that get you down. Oh, I love to ruin everybody's day by that, saying that kind of crap. I could have a drink of water. It's dry in here, it's hot. I don't know. There's big windows across the front, and the sun blasts in and heats this place up like a fishbowl. It's a weird situation. But anyway, oh geez, let's get into a little bit of city stuff first, right? A little bit of city stuff first. Then we're gonna criticize everybody. Of course we do. That's what I do. That's what the show's all about, right? That's why we call it Straight Talk Thursday. So I was talking about city council decision to go against city planners last meeting. Who they recommended approving a development in Chippewa and the repercussions from an OLT appeal. Well, you know what? Case in point, Niagara Lake faced such a situation. And they had a project called Butler's Garden Development. I'm not sure exactly where it was, maybe off the main street going into Niagara Lake there. And it was a 3-story, 17-unit residential development on King and Cottage Streets. There you go. King and Cottage Street. I'm not sure exactly where that is in Niagara Lake, but I think it is that road going into Niagara Lake. And a developer in Chippewa is kind of facing the same thing. They wanted a development on Welland Street and I can't remember the side street, but anyway, it was the same type of thing. It wasn't a 17-unit residential; it was about 5 or 6 units or something. And council said no against the wishes of the city planners. They approved it, and the OLT ruled when they went to the OLT about this that the development will support the provincial and municipal planning policies, which promote an adequate supply of mixed in range of housing options in town. So even though council said no, to appease these citizens. They went to the OLT, and the OLT said, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this." And the biggest assertion by Niagara Lake was that the build wasn't compatible with the surrounding character of the neighborhood. Much like Chippewa, they're saying, no, this doesn't fit. These are single family housing and blah, blah, blah. And an expert was called in and said it was that. I mean, it was perfect. It worked. And even though city council said no, it's going to go ahead. The mayor, in his wisdom, voted for the development. Yeah, the mayor said, yes, this development's fine. Let's go with it. Council voted against it 5-2, and I'm not sure what the cost is for the to take it to the tribunal, but guaranteed there was a cost to the taxpayers, thousands of dollars. It's not cheap to get a planner in there to actually take on your case and say, yes, that's the way it should go. They should not approve this. You got to find somebody that agrees with you on it. But once city council says yes, the city planners know what they're doing. Of course, that's the end of that. Basically, I mean, it's over. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be approved, and it was an interesting outcome from Niagara Lake, and most likely the future of Chippewa development decision if the developers decide to go to the OLG. I mean, that's what it's all based on, right? They have to go to the OLG, and they have to be able to prove that it's not a good development. It's very, very hard when city council and the city planners say okay, and city council goes against their staff. That's when it's tough. So that's just a little example of what we were talking about a few weeks ago on how you go to the OLT and it won't get overturned. The developers will get their way and build anyway. And that's what happened there. Voila. Now, on to another point here. I've talked a lot about the MRI situation in Niagara Falls. It's ridiculous that people can't get in for a year. And then if you do want to get in, you got to go to Mississauga at 1:30 in the morning or 3 in the morning or some crazy time. Basically, the Niagara region, for that matter, is the same. The backlog for an MRIs is huge. And one case, Colleen Krasage, a St. Catherine senior, was told she needed an MRI scan of her back to look into lower back pain. Unfortunately, she was told it would be a year before they could get to her. And that is totally unacceptable, of course. Her option was to go to Mississauga and have the procedure done at 1:30 in the morning. There you go. That's exactly what we're talking about. But it was a lot sooner than waiting for an opening in the Niagara Health System. Now, she'll be able to see her doctor in August because she went and had the MRI done and find a cure for this rather than waiting in excess of a year to get a cure for this or at least some kind of a resolution to the problem. But going to Mississauga still has a cost. I mean, you got to go there, and she's a senior, so she don't want to be driving there for 1 in the morning. So they go get a room there, and when they get a room there, of course, that costs money. And they decide to stay overnight rather than have to drive up there for 1:30 in the morning. Now, the other options are heading over the border, where you can get an MRI done immediately, like the same day at times. If you called up St. Mary's Hospital or Niagara Falls General over there, and you just ask them, I need an MRI, when can I come in? You're probably getting an appointment very quick. Probably the same. I called once just for the heck of it for a knee, and they said, come this afternoon. I called in the morning. But you'll be in I'd say within a week, maybe 1 or 2 days. But of course, that costs money. I mean, it costs you around $700 US to be able to get that done. But in my opinion, it's worth it if you can get it done right away and you can get immediate relief from your problems, right? Your doctor will know what ails you right away. Of course, politicians like the Frito Bandito calls for the province to provide additional funding for resources to address the wait times. But then on the other side of his mouth, he criticizes private clinics that would add more MRI machines to the city and the area, throw more into the mix, and take those waiting times down because if you had 30 or 40 more MRI machines, that would cut into the backlog. And if they're in private clinics, what's the difference? They're going to charge you according to OHIP, the OHIP or the health health standards. And if they want an extra bill, well, then you choose the ones that don't extra bill, or you pay a couple $100 to have instant results. Either way, it'll work. But he says he doesn't want that. But then he's claiming that he wants the government to throw in more money so they can buy more. I mean, you can't have it both ways, ladies and gentlemen. The Niagara Health System don't have the money to be able to do it. And they're not going to all of a sudden come up with millions and millions and millions of dollars to do it. But a private clinic could. They can make money just like over the US, right? I mean, NDP, they want everything for free and they want taxpayers to pay for it. Just tax you more and they'll spend all your money, no problem. But we know nothing is free. I mean, I don't care what the Frito Bandito says, nothing is free. Not even his services for MPP because he gets paid a good buck to do it. Private clinics could relieve wait times, and Ford is looking to do this under protest of the Frito Bandito and, of course, the NDP party. Privatization, they're going to start charging people. Oh, so big deal. They start charging people. I'd pay $100 if I was in pain and I wanted to get an MRI right away. You got to stop with this charging free stuff. I think the health system worked a lot better when there was user fees. In other words, we used to pay out of our paycheck for it. It seemed to work a lot better. These guys get more money and they just blow it anyway. They don't blow it on MRI machines because we have thousands of people waiting and you can't get in for a year. But private clinics could be the answer to it. And hospitals don't have the ability to buy and offer more. But I mean, they'll get these technicians. They'll find a way to do it. Private enterprise finds ways to do things when the government can't. Let's face it. What government office ever made money? The only one I can ever remember in my whole life is the Niagara Parks Commission. They make money. Anything else, the hydro, any crown corporation, did they ever make money? No, they never did. Private enterprise does all the time, but they never do because they're so top heavy in red tape that they can't make money. They can't make money. It's impossible. You can fire half the staff. I mean, I remember when Hydro got rid of 10,000 people, everybody was crying. Nobody's power went out. So what the hell were those 10,000 people doing? I'm going to tell you what they were doing. There's no joke in the government. Why doesn't a government employee look out the window in the morning? Because they have nothing to do in the afternoon. That's why. So, we got to get over this and we got to get this done and get private enterprise doing it. I mean, in Niagara Falls, New York, once a year or a couple times a year, they have an MRI machine set up at the hotel there. They get a room, a big ballroom or wherever the hell they have a big room, and they set up MRI machines. And you can go in there and pay, $500, $700 for an MRI of whatever you want. You can get a full body scan, you can get a half body scan, you can get an upper body scan, a brain scan, arm scan, knee scan, whatever you want. Whatever you need, you can get, and you pay for it. Okay, so you get your thing right away. You don't have to wait a year. You don't have to wait a year in pain waiting for it. And, the government's stranglehold on these treatments, like they gotta let it go. And Ford's trying to let it go. The NDP don't like it, but these goofy regulations, we got to get going here. The population's aging. Guys my age, the baby boomers are starting to get old, and there's a lot of us. And they're starting to get these aches and pains, and they need repair. I mean, if you had your car running for 70 years, you would need repair. And the same with the body. So they got to lose these goofy regulations. They got to forget these guys who say that private enterprise, private clinics can't do it. They got to get a simple procedure where you can go at a decent hour to get this done, not 1:30 in the morning in Mississauga. It's outrageous, has to end. And they wonder why people get addicted to painkillers. Oh, we got people addicted to painkillers. They're hooked. They're hooked. I guess. Are you going to sit there and you can't stand it? Of course you're going to pop pills. Or you can go get an MRI tomorrow. Your doctor can look at it in a few weeks, and they might be able to cure you. And you don't need all these painkillers. How about that? They talk about all these addictions now. Well, you know what? That's what causes some of these addictions. They're in such pain, these people, from aches and pains, that they start taking this stuff and then they can't get off them. My neighbor was like that. Got to help people out, and by not allowing private clinics to do this kind of stuff, and relieve the hospitals of the wait times and relieve the people of wait times. It's not going to happen. So get with it, Frito Bandito. And if you don't know who the Frito Bandito is, it's MPP Wayne Gates. Okay, so where are we going to go now? Well, look at this. I saw this in the Standard, and I was laughing my head off. If you get into a crash in St. Catharines, and the fire department has to be called, you're going to get a bill for $559.86. Pay for the fire call. Yep. You have to pay for accidents in St. Catharines now. So when you're there, drive carefully, pay attention, because if you get in one and they call the fire department, which they probably call for a lot of accidents, whether it's for paramedic service or gasoline leaks or whatever airbags going off, you're going to get a bill. Now the city figures this will generate over $70,000 a year. And if they play their cards right and have more out of town accidents, out of town people getting in accidents, they could generate double that. Imagine hoping for out of towners to crash to fill city coffers. Come on, let's set it up so they all crash. We gotta make some money here. I mean, this is pretty sick. Hoping people get in an accident to generate money for the city. I don't get it, but you know what? I mean, imagine what it would generate in Niagara Falls. Maybe this is something we should do. We're always looking for money here, even though we have millions of dollars just sitting around doing nothing. City Council always seems to be looking for money, and they asked the Penguin to save $1 million on the budget for this year, and every time he tries to, they shoot him down. And this could be a way to make some money right here. Look at that, $70,000 a year they figure. I mean, Niagara Falls with all the tourists, 12 million tourists, and it's crazy. It's like what do you call that? Death Race 2000 in Niagara Falls. Imagine the money we could make from charging them $1,000 for the fire call. Woo! And that's only people from out of town. People from in town, they don't pay. Just people from out of town. So we're nabbing all the tourists. They get in a crash. And I like to know who determines when the fire department has to be called out. I mean, the guy who's paying the tab maybe should decide if you need the fire department. No, I'm not paying $1,000. Okay. But the fire department is the most expensive department in the city to run. We spend $27 million on them, and their job is part of that job is to have the equipment and the people to attend accidents. So why are they charging? We already pay for that in our taxes, no? I don't know. Just seems like another tax grab. Anywhere they can find money, they're going to do it. And, you can call it what you want, but a rose is a rose is a rose. Who else we got here? Well, okay. Let's go to the Olympics just for a minute, right? Oh man. These people drive me crazy. So here we got a boxer, a woman boxer, and she's fighting a man, of course, because these transgenders and everything, and she gets clobbered, of course, and she quits the match and goes away crying, and everybody's up in arms. Everybody's up in arms. I don't get it. Why didn't you just say no in the first place? No, I'm not fighting a man. That's all there is to it. I'm not fighting a man. And walk away from the match. Don't even get in the ring. They all should do that. So what are they even doing in the ring? They're going to get clobbered. Then they start crying and they walk out of the match. Then she's on them in the press crying. I'm going, listen. Women championed the transgender agenda. They championed them. Oh, they have rights. They have rights. The woke. They have this. They have that. Blah, 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 blah. You're racist. You're homophobic. You're transphobic. You're grassphobic. Anything is phobic. Everything's phobic. Everything they can call you is phobic if you don't like the idea of men smashing women in the face. I don't like that idea. As a matter of fact, it's a crime in most cases. They champion these people. They champion them to be in beauty contests and everything else, and then they beat them, and then they cry, and they get mad. I don't feel sorry for her at all. She shouldn't have gotten a match in the first place. She should have walked, and if she took an ass kicking, well, that's too bad. That's too bad. You championed, you let these in. Every woman in the Olympics, If there's a transgender involved, they should all walk. They should refuse to compete against a man. No, no, no. It's okay. Oh no, they got rights. They got rights. Everybody's got rights. No, I don't want to be transphobic. You know what? You get what you deserve. And I don't care what anybody says. You can call me whatever you want. But the bottom line is, what the hell is she doing competing? And if she would have walked, she wouldn't have taken an ass kicking. That's all I can say. It's too bad. No use crying. Don't do it again. Walk away. Tell them you're not competing if they have a man in the contest. And I don't care if it's a man or a high testosterone, whatever. I don't care what it is. You cannot compete. They're gonna beat you. And now they're beating you in beauty contests. I mean, everybody pushed for this woke agenda. Everybody pushed. Everybody's equal. You can't be this. You know what? Now you're getting what you deserve. And if you don't walk away before and protest that you have to fight a man, then you're going to go in there and take your licks. Although I know some women who could probably kick my ass more than once. So there you go. But either way, I'd say you should walk, and every woman should walk, and they should not compete in the Olympics. They should all go home and say, until you straighten this issue out, we're not competing. It's just not fair, and that's the way it should be. Oh, anyway, okay, let's move on from that. That just made me mad when I saw that, and I feel bad for the girl that's fighting. I mean, it's not fair. She might have won a gold medal or something like that. She looked like she was in pretty good shape, and she knew what she was doing. She was from Italy, Calabrini or something like that. But the bottom line is, you stepped over that rope and into the ring. You should have said no. Okay, where are we going next? We talked about St. Catharines and the $1,000, $559 for the thing. Well, let's go down south for a minute. Things are heating up down there again. Ghetto Kamala showed up in Atlanta, and just after everyone left the rally, that was as soon as the featured band finished their set and Kamala stepped on stage. People were leaving. Kamala gave a rousing speech in ghetto slang. Now, I don't get this. She goes to Atlanta, starts talking ghetto slang, and the blacks are pissed. Seriously, I would be too. What's this goofball doing? And the polls are proving the honeymoon is over for knee pad Nancy. The days of blacks voting for her because she's black, which she isn't, by the way, are over. This nonsense and pandering, talking ghetto because she's in Atlanta. I mean, that's demeaning to blacks, and they're smart enough to see the pandering. They find the whole scene offensive. Recent polls show Trump ahead in the swing states of Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The bump for Kamala is over. And now she's got to get down to brass tacks and hope that she gets a bump when she picks her vice president, who, I don't know, is more and more looking like this Shapiro guy, because the Republicans are painting her as a left-wing radical, akin to Iman and Tlaib and AOC and Bernie Sanders. So she wants to get a guy who's a more moderate Democrat, like Shapiro. I think he's out of Pennsylvania, to help her. So we'll see what happens, but she's going to pick it by next Tuesday, I think. I think next Tuesday she's picking her vice president, so that should be good. Now, on the Trump side of the equation, Trump stepped into real hostile territory yesterday, a place where Kamala was supposed to be, but she didn't show up. I mean, that was the whole deal. They'd have both of them there talking on subjects. And he comes in the room, sits down, and he didn't even get a hello, how are you? Thanks for coming in, Mr. President. Nothing. The woman there jumped right on him. And these clowns were from the National Association of Black Journalists, and it's their annual convention in Chicago. And he got Pearl Harbor by her. No hello, no nothing. Just hammering them on a bunch of stuff. And he counterpunched these hacks into shape, though. He just said, "Hey, I come here. You don't even say hello, and then you start hammering on me here, about different things, right? I mean, what kind of a hack journalist are you?" He gave it to him bad, gave it to him bad, And he did not like being disrespected by a bunch of hack journalists, that's for sure. And he counterpunched them back into shape, man. I couldn't believe they just started on him right away. Just it's crazy. I mean, it's tough operating in enemy territory. You come with goodwill, hoping you can have a decent conversation, but not with these people. They're there to hammer you. But he went through the show. He got through it, and luckily, there's one good journalist there, Harris Faulkner, and she asked the former president relevant questions about issues facing blacks, and Trump gave his answer. His answer right to what she was asking about. She was very, very good with her questions. None of this attacking and trying to demean the guy and that kind of thing. Amazing what happens when you get real journalists asking questions instead of some TDS infected hacks. And that's what they were. You could see they had Trump derangement syndrome just by the way they were acting and the way they were talking and the questions they were acting right from the get-go. Actually, it was comical. It was comical in there. Talking about when he said women are this and that, and what the heck else did he say? He's calling them the immigrants animals and that because they're killing people and stuff. So he got her good. So it's getting wacky down there. I mean, you thought it was wacky before. It's getting wackier by the day, and we'll see what happens when she gets her vice president next Tuesday, and then they head to the Democratic convention in Chicago on August 19th. So keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on that. On that note, I'm going to head over to Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, my second sponsor. And if you've ever gone through a neighborhood at night and you see houses lit up beautifully, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting is where they got those lights from. You don't even see them in the daytime. They match all your eaves troughs and coloring and everything. But when they come alive is at night. Once you turn these things on, you have your house brilliantly lit up for any occasion. Green for St. Patrick's Day, purple for Prince's birthday, orange for Halloween, red and green Christmas, red and white for Canada Day. The lights are built in zones, and every zone you can control right from your phone, a million different colors. So if you want red in that zone, green in that zone, you can do it. All the lights are the joints where they join together are soldered, sealed, impervious to dust and moisture. So you don't have to worry about these things. As a matter of fact, they have a lifetime warranty on them. That's right, a lifetime warranty. If anything happens, they're going to come and fix them. Unbelievable. I know that they add value to your house and they add safety to your house because they do light up walkways and driveways and that kind of thing, so you can see where you're going at night. And they look fantastic. No more climbing ladders and big strings of Christmas lights trying to get them up there and hang them on a cold day. You fall off the ladder, you slip. It's not worth it. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting takes care of all this. You never have to climb a ladder again. They're there. They're there for good. How do you get these? Well, you give Colin Buckborough a call at 289-969-1797. He's going to come to your house and give you a free estimate. And if it's a little too much for your budget and you still want them, they have affordable financing. You can finance them and pay $50, $100, whatever a month, and still get them without having to plop down a big wad of cash. That's Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Colin Buckborough is the owner. You can call him at 289-969-1797. He's going to get over to your house and give you an estimate. And if you just want to see the kind of work they do, just go to glowstonelighting.com, glowstonelighting, just like it sounds.com, and you can see the work they've done. Also, I believe they have a Facebook page. Look under Hamilton Glowstone Lighting or Glowstone Lighting, and you'll see the kind of work they do on Facebook. Call him today. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and he'll be glad to give you a free estimate. And if you like what he's got to offer, you can get them. And that's where they get them. If you've ever seen a beautiful house in a neighborhood lit up at night, and you go, "Wow, I'd like to have that." Okay, back to the news here. We're going to go over to the Middle East, and what a giant mess right now. This place is a powder keg just waiting to explode. I got to have the TV on all the time to watch this because it's getting wacky. So Israel's sick and tired of these proxies bombing them and causing trouble. So Netanyahu decided to cut the head off the snake, and he eliminated the head of Hamas. And he took out the senior military commander of Hezbollah. And Hezbollah was in retaliation for the bombing of a soccer field in the Golan Heights, ordered by the military commander Fuad Shakur. Now, the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, he was in Tehran, in Iran, to attend the inauguration of the actual new Iranian president, because you remember the other one got killed in the helicopter crash. Well, I don't know if he got killed. Somebody maybe offed him. I don't know. But either way, he's gone. He's gone. So they were inaugurating a new president, and the building this Iranian president was in was hammered by rockets, probably from jets or something, and they took him out. Yeah, Haniyeh was the one responsible for the October 7th attack on Israel. So he was the one that started this Hamas. And Netanyahu was looking for him since then. They found him and they eliminated him. He's gone. Now, the Hezbollah senior commander, Sakur, was cornered in Beirut, and the Israeli Air Force jets took him out. He's another goner. Another promise made by Netanyahu after the July bombing of Golan Heights. Now, I doubt that Netanyahu is finished. He has lots of scores to settle right now. Here's the problem with that. Iran is not taking this lightly. An incursion into their territory, Tehran, to kill the Hamas leader has led Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, to issue an order for Iran to strike Israel directly. Now, this is the first time that they've said this. They usually do their bombing of Israel. They usually do it via proxies of Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, and other proxies in the area. But not this time. He says he's ordering Iran to strike Israel directly. And this is a huge escalation. It could lead to an all-out war against Israel by Iran. And Israel is now fighting Hamas, Hezbollah in South Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and now Iran itself, which could escalate quickly into a major conflict. Now, Iran is given this order, the supreme leader, so they are going to do it. What they do, we don't know, and how severe it's going to be, we don't know. I mean, they might declare all-out war. Who knows? It's so crazy there right now. It's very, very dangerous. A lot of countries are calling their ambassadors and getting people out of there. I think there's 20,000 Canadians there. And they want to get them out of Lebanon and other areas around there because they think it's going to escalate into a major conflict. Of course, all the while, U.S. President Biden is doing nothing. I don't even know where he is. He probably doesn't even know what's going on because it looks like Kamala is running the country, and I'd say by Labor Day she will be. They're gonna oust Biden totally, and she's gonna be the president and end up running as the incumbent. I think it's going to happen by the end of this month. And candidate and current VP is telling Israel to use restraint and never use the words radical Islamic terrorism, and has no inclination to back Israel. I mean, this doesn't help anything in a situation since Iran is not afraid of the U.S. getting involved because they really don't want to get involved, and they're barely backing Israel. Which gives them free reign to do whatever they want. This is a real bad situation. You got to stay tuned to this one because at the end of the day, it could get goofy. It could get real goofy over there. And if they suck the United States into this, it could be an all-out war, United States versus Iran. And you never know who's going to jump in because we know Iran is good friends with Russia and China. They trade a lot and they do a lot with each other. They're buying their oil from them. So this could turn into a major world war, and there's nobody in the United States that's taken the lead to be able to do anything about it. And of course, our Justin Trudeau, what's he doing? Castro, he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. He's just watching it all and sending more money to Ukraine. They love sending money to Ukraine. The guy's not, he's a billionaire as it is. I mean, and I mean, Ukraine's lost the war. Let's face it, it's over. It's been over for a long time. It's just a matter of keeping getting this money from the United States and NATO and everybody else to prop them up. But the end of the war was over a long time ago. As soon as that money stops flowing, and if the United States gets into a major conflict in the Middle East, the money will stop flowing. They just can't do them both, and that'll be the end of the Ukraine. And it's not getting any better in North America. People think, well, what does this have to do with me? What do I care? Well, you better care, because there's warships, Russian warships off the coast of the United States. There's submarines. They're docking in Cuba. They're hanging around there. And they're just not there just to go for a beach vacation in Cuba. There's a purpose of them being there, and nobody stopped them. Nobody's doing anything about it. You've got a lame duck president, and the vice president doesn't have a clue of what's going on. Yeah, so I mean, it's a wild situation. Watch for that one. Really, really watch that one. So, I mean, you want to hear about a phony award? Now, this is the phoniest award I ever heard of, and we're going to go back to the Niagara region for this one. Niagara region has been recognized for meeting the highest principles of government budgeting for the 12th of government budgeting for the 12th consecutive year, and was awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. What? Are you kidding me? Now, I got Chris Regas coming in here on Tuesday, and I got to talk to him about this one. A panel of independent reviewers examined the region's 2024 budget and all the documentation that went with it, and determined the financial management and planning divisions at the region met the highest standard of the award. This can't be. Is this a joke? Is it April 1st? Let me check my watch. No, it's not April 1st. Not April 1st, no. I don't know what this means. The region is the biggest tax and spend outfit in the province. As a matter of fact, this region is the worst region in the province. They reach deep into our pockets, but their transparency while doing this receives accolades and awards for being transparent about picking our pockets and wasteful spending. Now, yeah, they were transparent with the budget. They grabbed us for a whack. They raised everything, but they're upfront about it. We're going to take your money. And when they start giving awards for this, you have to say the award's just another case of pocket pickers patting each other on the back for screwing the taxpayers, but being transparent about their intentions. And they keep getting elected. So I guess next award is going to be 13 years next year, because they're already telling us that the budget's going to be increased by 8.72%. Now, that's transparent. In August of 2024, they're telling you an 8.7% increase for 2025. So that's transparent, right? It's not that's not including waste management and all the other fees that they tack on to all this. And then the municipal government, of course, they're going to look at it and say, "What the heck? Let's grab them for another 3 or 4 or 5 or 8%. Who knows? Who knows? It never ends." But yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening, and they got an award for it. How about that? I never seen such anything so phony in my whole life. We'll see what Chris Regas thinks about this, but to me, it sounds pretty phony. Because they're transparent and jamming you for 8.72% in 2025, they're going to get this award again. This award? Give me a break. Give me a break. So I read a great story over in Niagara-on-the-Lake, part of the region, of course. And I think Niagara-on-the-Lake is waking up. They're waking up. And they're not afraid to show it. Now, more than 200 protesters, some with signs, gathered around City Hall and directed their anger about the passing of several unwanted development towards the councillors before the council meeting. And I'm going, in Niagara-on-the-Lake? The sleepy little town of Niagara-on-the-Lake? Yeah, 200 people came out with signs yelling and screaming at the counselors. And it was over a development at the Waco property, White Oaks, I think, on there, about the skyline and this and that and everything else. They want to go up so many stories. But yeah, how refreshing is this? I mean, residents up in arms and letting council know, wow, wow, we have 100,000 people in Niagara Falls and we can't get 20 people out to protest against anything. I'm totally impressed. They chased after the mayor as he walked from his vehicle to City Hall's rear entrance, yelling, "Resign, resign," and "Liar, liar," during the 2 hour demonstration, and gave it to Gary Burrows and Wendy Chiropita, two counselors who walked through the angry residents. They were giving it to him. Deputy Lord Mayor Irwin Ween stopped and talked to people as they shouted at him, "Shame, shame on you." He said he was deeply disappointed in the protesters. Yeah, why would you want people protesting, peacefully protesting in a democratic country? That don't make sense, right? And went on to say that residents that were not there would be aghast. They'd be aghast at the way these people were acting. Hey, Deputy Lord Mayor, the people have a right to protest your bad decisions. That's part of living in a democracy. And these guys make me laugh because they've never had a protest. They never had people yelling at them before. And this is totally out of nature for them. They do what they want. Nobody yells or screams. And all of a sudden, people get fed up. And they go, "We're not putting up with this anymore. We're mad as hell. We're not putting up with it anymore." They go and yell and scream. And he says he was aghast, deeply disappointed. I mean, I don't understand why anybody would be aghast at people angry at their politicians. But you see, this is a democracy. You're supposed to do this if you don't like what's going on. But these guys never been taken to task, so they're aghast. And what's appalling to me is not them people protesting, is that he thinks a peaceful protest is appalling in a democracy. That's what's appalling to me. These politicians have it too easy, believe me, for too long. They make decisions, they're never challenged. First time they get challenged, they pull out the dictator manual and claim this is bullying and appalling behavior by taxpayers, the people who pay the bills, and want their town to stay quaint and nice with no big high rises. I mean, these protesters, Mr. Deputy Lord Mayor, are your bosses. They pay your way. They're the taxpayers. You should be listening to them. You're a public servant that takes pats in the back all the time, but there's another side to the politics. Now you've seen it, and apparently you don't like it. Well, get used to it. A lot of people are waking up and they're sick as hell of government, and won't take it anymore. Believe me, if this were a Palestinian terrorist group protesting in Niagara Lake and burning a Canadian flag, not one of these councillors would have said a word about it for fear of being called a racist. They got to quit pandering. They got to quit pandering. And most of them anyway, but for certain groups, they do pander, and it's terrible. Bravo to those protesters. I say bravo, bravo. Fight, fight, fight. You may not get your wish from these politicians, but they know you're paying attention, which in itself is a victory. So next election, turn out record numbers, not 27%, turn out record numbers and throw them all out. You don't like the way they're doing stuff, or at least the ones that don't respect you as a taxpayer and respect your right to protest. Um, Peacefully, always protest peacefully. We don't want you out there doing stupid things. But if you feel a decision's not right, let them know. Let them know. And that I guess that project is going ahead. They gave it the green light. So their next move is to go to the OLT, but if it's been approved by council and everything else, they'll have a hard time overturning that one. And sometimes it's worth it to go, though, for concessions. You might get concessions that'll make it a little bit nicer and a little bit better, a little bit more to your liking, but there you go. But congratulations, Niagara Lake. You got out there, you protested, you let them know how you feel. Next time they'll think a little bit before they make a decision that goes against the wishes of the taxpayers. Good for you. Never hurts to protest, never hurts to let your feelings be known. If you just sit back and say nothing, you're going to get it. And that's what I say, like 27% turnout for the election. That gives them the right to do whatever they want. I mean, 60 or what, 27%, 73% of the people didn't bother to vote. So they can't say that all these people are on their side. 73% of the people didn't vote. So that's not a vote for you. It's they're disgusted because they know the incumbents are all going to get back in, or they didn't think bothering to vote would make a difference, or whatever. But that's 27% of the people gave you the okay, and they're running the city because you're running the city for them. They voted you in. So people, you get the government you deserve. You throw 27 cents in the pot instead of a buck, and you get a 27-cent government. Sorry, that's the way it goes. What do you want me to do? Go vote. So and we're going to move back to this. The move to corner stores selling beer, wine, and premixed alcohol starts on September 5th now. And 36 regional stores are given the green light to sell these drinks in their store. 28 of them in Niagara Falls. Yeah, 28 stores are going to be able to do it in Niagara Falls, with additional stores coming on board in the weeks ahead. So 28 of the 36 are going to be in Niagara Falls. Good for us. Good for us. Basically, most of the stores who have lottery licenses got them, and that sped up the approval process because to get a lottery license, you got to prove you're not a criminal, you've never been charged with anything, and they search your family background. They do a lot of checks on you, much like getting a gaming license at the casino. So you're basically pre-approved if you're selling lottery tickets and everything else. And so they got them first, basically, and I'd like to see it go down before the long weekend. I wish they would have implemented it before the long weekend, but I think they're just going to do it after the long weekend, and that's it. But what the hey, they got it. Now, strangely enough, and this kind of blows my mind, St. Catharines only got one store that's going to be selling it. One in St. Catharines, 100,000 people, 120,000 people. It seems low for the largest city in the region, right? I don't get it. That's pretty weird. I figured they'd have more than Niagara Falls, but I'm sure more places will come aboard as the program rolls out on September 5th. It's high time, no pun intended, the government treats us as adults and slowly sends the nanny state to the bins of history. Yeah, we're tired. We're adults. Everybody can handle it. The stores can handle it, and they're treating us as such. And the LCBO, too bad. They were protesting the actual pre-mixed alcohol drinks, the vodka coolers and stuff. But you know what? They're going the way of the dodo too. They're going to be in the dustbins of history themselves. So good. You'll see it in corner stores. I don't know which ones. They didn't name the 28, but you definitely will see them. I would imagine a lot of them are in the tourist areas. Nice for tourists to be able to go in and get a 6-pack and go to their rooms and have a couple drinks. When we go away, we always do that. We always go look for a beer store, liquor store, get a bottle of something, and sit around and by the pool or whatever, and have a nice drinky poo. Good for them. So now we're going to enter. If everything I've been talking about already isn't bizarro world, we're going to jump into bizarro world a little bit more here. So in a bizarre scene, a 73-year-old guy was apprehended by police for robbing the Dairy Queen in Stanford Center. I couldn't believe this. I can't imagine what would motivate a senior citizen to go into a Dairy Queen, order an ice cream, tell him he has a gun, and heist the Dairy Queen. I don't know. That's pretty wild. A 73-year-old guy doing this. How fast was his getaway? I mean, are things that bad for seniors? They got to start pulling off heists to get by? I mean, how much was the guy going to get anyway? Think about it. Everything's paid by card, by plastic now. How much cash do they really have? I don't know what he got. They never said. But cash in hand at these Dairy Queens and stores is usually pretty low. I have to wonder if the guy has a medical condition or something. Got dementia or something, because I don't understand a 73-year-old guy going in and doing this kind of crazy thing. But we're living in bizarro world, and even the craziest things happen on a regular basis. Now, that's pretty wild. But not to be outdone, an 82-year-old man was charged near Barry's Bay with stunt driving. The aged Mario Andretti wannabe was flying in his minivan at 2 in the afternoon, doing 141 kilometers in an 80-kilometer zone. What the heck is driving at 82 is scary. Doing 141 kilometers at 82 is insane. He's charged with stunt driving. His minivan was towed and impounded for 14 days, and his license was suspended for 30 days. But I will guarantee at 82, he may never see his license again. You get in an accident at 82, you got to go in immediately for a road test and the written test and everything. I don't know. His insurance is going to go up. Maybe hard for him to get any. If he does, he may not be able to pay for it at 82. Depending on how much money the guy has. But once again, what would possess an 82-year-old guy to pull a Mario Andretti? We drive around town and we're always yelling, "Speed up!" They're going like 20 kilometers an hour. You can't even get down the street. They're going so slow. But I don't know. In this case, he did 141 and 82. And that's dangerous. What are these people doing out here? They're yelling and screaming. Was it a party? They're having a party on the street. Bizarro world. Okay, now for the hat trick. We have had two, a 73-year-old and 82-year-old, so we can't leave out the 78 years old. Now, this guy in Elliott Lake was charged with assault with a weapon after threatening a hardware store employee with a knife. What? He was charged with possession of a weapon for dangerous purposes and carrying a concealed weapon. Now, what would possess an 78-year-old man to go into a Home Depot or a hardware store, carrying a concealed weapon, and then threatening the employee there with a knife? I mean, does old age bring out the gangster in us? I mean, I'm 72, or do they just not care because they think they're old? They can say, like Uncle Leo on Seinfeld, "I'm old, I'm an old man." Because this doesn't make sense. These old people going on a rampage. Old people gone wild. But there you go, the hat trick, and I'm sure there's more stories. But usually, I'm used to an 82-year guy smashing through the front window of a Tim Hortons. He hits the accelerator instead of the brake. But this right here, this is like robbing a Dairy Queen, stunt driving, pulling a knife on a hardware store employee. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. That's the hat trick right there, the third one. So there you go. Don't mess with seniors. I'm telling you, do not mess with seniors. They have nothing to lose. And they're getting crazy. Use the medication. I don't know. Pretty wild, if you ask me. So I read another little story about Ford, Premier Ford, looking to an early election. Is he looking for an early election? Maybe so. I'm looking at the upcoming federal election in 2025. The Ford camp feels it may be wise to have a provincial election before the federal one. While his PC party has hits their highest levels of approval in 2 years, this could be the time. I think their approval rating is 44%. The LCBO striking his handling of it while opening the doors for beer, wine, and alcoholic premixed alcoholic drinks at corner stores has given him a little boost in popularity here, and he figures maybe this could be the time. So we may see an election before 2025 or early 2025 before the actual election should take place. All the while, there's an RCMP criminal investigation underway looking into irregularities in the government's $8.28 billion Greenbelt land swap scandal. Yeah, he's involved in that scandal. They're looking into it now because there's some shady shenanigans going on there. They said now, back to the date. I think the next election in Ontario is 2026. That's when the next election is. So it would be the federal election in 2025. They want to drop it an election before that election, just to correct myself. If you remember, there were allegations that a decision from the province to open parts of the green belt was made, um, and for development, and they want to know who benefited from that decision, and that's what's under the microscope of the RCMP. The criminal probe comes after Ford initially allowed development of 7,400 acres of environmentally sensitive land that forms part of the greenbelt. Yeah, so he wanted to open up the greenbelt for development, and there's a lot of people who did not like that, and they were saying that he gave his buddy developers, his friends developers, the okay and to let them make a lot of money. Now he took that back. He rescinded that because he heard the whiplash or the backlash. The whiplash, probably got it too, but the backlash from people. And a report revealed that certain developers were favored. They were favored to develop that land. So that's a no-no. That's a no-no right off the hook. So an election call before this investigation is finished may just work in Ford's favor if an early election is called. Stay tuned for this one, but it looks like they're going to be looking at doing that. So watch out. We might have another election quickly in Ontario, and then we're going to be followed up in 2025 by the federal election where we throw out Justin Castro. Oh, please. Please let it happen. I mean, he's got a lot of bought and paid for votes, so it's hard to get rid of the guy, but we're going to hope that we do, right? 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 I think so. Okay, so tomorrow we see Gordon Helmke. And if I don't have his name right, please, Gordon, pardon me. I think his name's Helmke. He's going to visit the studio on Finally Friday. Tomorrow's Friday, and it's going to be Finally Friday. And you know what? I don't even think I'm going to do a show on Monday. Is it a long weekend? Isn't this some kind of long weekend? So I might not even be in on Monday. We'll see. A lot of times I say I'm not, and then I relent and come in. But I might not. It's going to be hot weather and that. Yeah, I might just take another day off here. So anyway, Gordon has lived downtown for 20 years and wants to discuss the problems downtown, what he has experienced, and solutions to bring the downtown back to life. That's what he wants to discuss. I'm just going to be an interesting exchange since I want to bulldoze the whole street and start over. So we're going to have to see what he has to say, and I'm sure he's going to make some great points, and I'm going to ask some great questions. So this is just a downtown citizen who was talking online, and I said, "You have some good points. Why don't you come on the show and we'll discuss it?" And he said, "Okay." So tomorrow is the day when he's going to be in here. Welcome, Gordon. It's going to be an interesting show for sure. And Tuesday will feature a visit from Chris Regas. Like I said, I might not do a Monday show, but he's fired up about the 8.72% tax increase being floated by those tax and spend liberals at the region. So he's going to be fired up, and that's going to be a good show. When Chris gets fired up, he gets fired up. And he's my regional guy, so he's going to give us the lowdown. And when I tell him about the award they got for transparency, that should really get him riled up. So we'll see him on Tuesday. And of course, next Wednesday is absolutely. Then we have Thursday, Friday. Don't know what's going on those days, but we'll figure it out. I've got Mike Lucid to bring back in about downtown. We got lots of people that still have to get on this show and talk. We got Billy Ball. We missed the Major League Baseball show because the Buzzard, the self-proclaimed expert in baseball in Niagara Falls, couldn't make it. So we got to still get to that. His predictions for the season end. So yeah, got a lot of good shows coming up in August. We thank our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Thank them for sponsoring the show. And that's it for today. We're at the witching hour, 1:00. I thank everybody tuning into the show for tuning in. You can see it on YouTube. I'm going to be posting it on YouTube right after the show. You can listen to it on 4680Q Radio as soon as it gets posted as a podcast. And that's that. And if anybody out there has something they want to come in and talk about, feel free to come on in. Just give me a message or something on Facebook or call. My number's posted all over the place. Text message and let me know, and you can come on in and talk about something. But one caveat is you got to have something to talk about. It's got to be something to talk about. You can't just come in here and sit here and not talk. I mean, if you're going to be a guest, have a subject you want to talk about that you're mad about, and go to town, and we'll go back and forth for an hour, and it'll make for a good show. Like Gordon's coming in tomorrow. I love that kind of thing, and it's good for the city. It's good for the viewers, and it's good for the residents and taxpayers to see that you, the taxpayers, are getting involved. You're watching your money because they get your money and they spend it. And if somebody's not watching them, you know what they're going to do? You're going to make more pickleball courts and ghetto domes. So get in here if you have something to say. My name is Paul Calamere. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. Yeah, this is the studio right here. And I'm happy to be here every day. Happy that you're watching. I appreciate your comments on any of my shows and your likes. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit the thumbs up button, and away we go. Let's spread this out in Niagara Falls. Tell your friends about the show. Let your friends watch the video. Share the video. Let's get it going so that in 2026 at the next election, we get more than a 26% or 27% turnout, and people are actually interested. And if there's changes that need to be made, let's make them. It's your city. It's your voice. It's your vote. Take advantage of it. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao, ciao for now. We'll see you later.